Good morning, Snowy Owls. How's everybody doing today? In writing, we're going to continue working with narrative stories. We're going to continue writing. We're going to be using a graphic organizer. The objective for the lesson today is that you guys will be able to fill out a graphic organizer to better understand the process of writing a narrative story. The teaching point will be that we're going to teach you how to use that graphic organizer that will help us understand the process of writing a narrative story. So remember from yesterday? Narrative is a sequence of connected events, whether real or fictional. But it's something very important that we have to remember when we're writing a narrative story is that all the events need to be in sequence. They need to be in order. So we must use words like first, second, third, in the middle. Then, at the end, finally, we could use all those words. A graphic organizer is a tool that we can use to organize our thoughts in a very visual way. Today's graphic organizer will help us in mapping the sequence of events from our narrative story. So here is the graphic organizer. We need to fill in where it says beginning, middle, and end. So you remember my story, right? I read it to you. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to separate the information in the graphic organizer by sequence. What happened first, what happened in the middle, and what happened at the end. So I'm going to start with what happened at the beginning. A few months ago, I was trying to write a letter for my sister. First, I gathered all the important information. I started typing the date, greeting, and the reason for the letter. Suddenly, I sneezed and touched the delete button by mistake. That's what happened first in my story. Now I'm going to move on into what happened in the middle. In the middle, which I use in my story the word then, the whole letter was gone. I panicked and started having stomach pain. I didn't know what to do. I learned that if you delete something, even by mistake, you can lose your work. That's what happened in the middle. Now I'm going to move on into what happened at the end. I started writing a new letter, and that is my graphic organizer, separating the information in sequence about what happened first, in the middle, and at the end. Okay? And that's what you're going to be doing today. Now, we're going to listen to Miss Sider. She's going to show you how she puts her story in a graphic organizer.
Hey Snowy Owls, so we're going to go through my story now. And if you remember from yesterday, my story was about my sister Jessica and I making the perfect cake for Mother's Day. In the beginning, my sister and I decided that we wanted to make the perfect cake for Mother's Day. First, we had to pick what flavor to make. Since it was Mother's Day, we decided it should be our mom's favorite flavor, chocolate. If you look in the beginning box, I used the word first. This lets the reader know that this is happening in the beginning or the first part of my story. In the middle box, I have next it was time to pick the frosting. I love vanilla frosting, but Jessica thought our mom would like the chocolate better, so we compromised. A chocolate frosting inside and a vanilla frosting outside. Then we baked our masterpiece. After letting it cool for a few hours, it was frosting time. So the words that I use to show the reader that this is the middle part of my story is next and then. These words mean that the next part of my story is happening. It's not the beginning and it's not the end. It's the middle. Finally, this cake was about to be done, but Jessica thought to add one last finishing touch. Sprinkles. This was seriously the best cake we ever made. So, Snowy Owls, the final word that I used to wrap up this story was finally. This tells the reader that my story is ending. So your assignment for today is to use the graphic organizer to break up your narrative from Monday. Your narrative and the graphic organizer are slides 2 and 3 in your narrative writing notebook, which is linked to this assignment.